Welcome to Cringe Club, the podcast that celebrates and embraces everything cringe. Each episode, I'll be talking to a different guest about their most excruciating and embarrassing stories. But don't worry, because what happens in Cringe Club, well, gets broadcast to all you lot. Question for you. What is the most embarrassing thing that can fall out of your wallet in Waterstones when you're looking for, your club card thing? Well, let me tell you. It is a secret agent card from when you were in a secret agency as a kid and you put it in there to go and show your old friends later. And that secret agency, let me tell you, was called the Hongy Chongy Wommies. Funnily enough, they didn't give me a discount or anything for being a secret agent. Anyway, just a micro cringe for you. Let's get on with the show. Now, I am even more excited than usual to welcome today's guest to the Cringe Club. I spent many years reading her hilarious books, Bad Nana and Pizazz, to my daughter, so I'm a big fan. She's also written the Happy Hills series, and her latest picture book, I believe, is I Hate Everything. Is that right? Which I can heavily relate to this week. PMT. It's the fabulously funny author and illustrator, Sophy Henn. Welcome to the Cringe Club.
Jane, thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted, I think, to be here.
Well, Sophie, this is your chance to just get any of those cringes you may have been carrying about with you your whole life, even in some cases. Those things that keep you awake at night, thinking back to them, that never leave you. This is your chance to get them off your chest. Because I reckon by sharing our shame, it makes us feel better. So, this is, just think of this as a nice therapy session almost.
Yeah.
And also make people feel better if they're listening. They can think, well, at least that hasn't happened to me. Or they can think, that's happened to me too, and I thought I was the only one.
Yeah.
A
cringe dump. Cringe dump. It all out and putting it over there.
Exactly. So should we start right at the beginning? Because for a long time when you're a kid, you're in this lovely phase of where you're not self-conscious about anything and you don't feel any cringe or embarrassment. And then I think at one point you suddenly noticed you're starting to feel a bit more embarrassed about it. What's your earliest memory of like feeling a bit cringe?
A bit cringe. Well, I was really embarrassed most of the time as a child. I was so easily embarrassed. And the really great thing about my embarrassment was it was instantly reflected in my face. I was a blusher. And not just like a glow. It was full tomato face, like within the bat of an eye.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So even if I felt slightly embarrassed about something that maybe no one else had noticed, my face would immediately give me away, which would heighten my embarrassment. So I remember that. And I remember finding a lot of things embarrassing as a child, but nothing really more embarrassing. And I think I'm probably not alone in this than the actions of my parents, specifically my mum. So I remember the two instances that sprung to mind was one was my mum, and she was very creative and had made me this beautiful, I don't know if anyone remembers flower fairies. I think that's
yeah.
Well, my mum created this incredible buttercup fairy dress out of an old skirt of hers, an old sort of yellow cheesecloth shirt, and it was beautiful, this dress, and she plaited my hair, and I was all ready to go to this fancy dress party that my best friend was having, and she was at a bit of a loss as to what to put on my feet, and I could quite happily have gone in my little navy blue T-bar shoes, but my mum decided that she needed to keep the sort of dainty the flower fairy theme going right to my tippy toes, and went out and bought a pair of verucca socks.
Oh,
which, if anyone doesn't know what they are, they're essentially like flesh-coloured rubber socks. And then she decorated those with buttercups. So she did attempt to sort of, I could have just gone with
pimp them up a bit. Yeah.
Anyway, and then she insisted I put these on, and I just remember sitting in the living room at my friend's house, just going, "There's literally." I was mortified, absolutely mortified.
I'm not surprised. That is pretty hardcore.
And then the other one, also mum related, was my mum was the dinner lady, the lunchtime lady at school. Not the dinner lady; she didn't dish out the dinner, but she was the playground,
the supervisor. Yeah.
Yes. And I remember they were going, oh, look, something's going on, and the whisper would go around the playground, oh, something's going on. And you'd all sort of run over to where something was going on. And the something that was going on was my mum was up a tree rescuing a football for somebody, and then being told off by our headmaster, who was, this is not a joke, called Mr. Pratt. And he was telling my mum off and telling her to get down from the tree. So that was pretty crushing as well.
Yeah,
So,
when it's your own, when it's your mum, there's nothing. I mean, mine get embarrassed just if we're in the supermarket together and they happen to see someone from school. We're literally just buying cereal, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
Oh my God.
Oh. So stuck up a tree, that would be embarrassing. Yeah. Does your mum remember?
Well,
Does she remember these things?
I think so, probably.
Yeah, I always wonder
I
if
imagine so.
I think because my mum, me and my sister always moan at her because she used to cut our fringes. God knows why, because I've got daughters and I just kind of let their fringe grow and put a clip in it, to keep it out their face. I don't know why back then they used to cut fringes on kids, but she used to do it. As I said, we've got loads of, it used to be, and she was rubbish at stuff like that. We used to wonky fringes, like sometimes they were like an oval shape.
I had the ultimate indignity. My mum, I've forgotten about this, did the actual bowl cut on me.
Oh, she did.
She did. And to compound matters, the night before the school photograph.
Oh God! And was she pleased with her handiwork as well? Because I don't think my mum noticed how bad these fringes were. No. And one night one day she didn't have any scissors, and my sister's fringe was getting so long it was in her eyes a bit. And instead of just finding a clip like we do, clip to the side, no, she thought, oh no, I know what I'll do. I'll do a ponytail in your fringe. So my poor sister is still not lived this down to this day. She did a little ponytail at the front of her head like that, just sticking up like some kind of onion. And then we rushed out to the door. And I remember my sister in tears out the door. I don't know what my mum was thinking. They mean well.
It's I guess it's just being a bit stressed and having other things to,
I think that's what it was.
To think about. But obviously for you, it's like there.
Major.
You can't get away from it. It's on the top of your face.
Yeah. So that's definitely a big thing, I think, parents. That's the first kind of embarrassing, like cringy things.
Yeah.
It tends to stem a lot from that, doesn't it?
Yes, because I think that's when yourself, you find your parents, and you're measuring your parents up against other people's parents as well, as to who's the embarrassing ones and who are the cool ones and who are the ones that, let you get away with murder.
It's quite sad, like as a parent now, because mine are now like 12 and 13, and so they're fully in the era of thinking I'm massively cringe. But it feels like I'm quite sad because just a few years ago they used to find me quite funny and like hanging out with me. Now I'm just getting eye rolls all the time, and I'm like, I thought I was cool the other day.
Yeah, well, you are. Look, let me tell you, you are special. So don't worry about that. That hasn't changed.
Thank you.
But I think it's really interesting, isn't it? Because my daughter's now 23, so we've come out the other side.
Yeah.
I do remember using my mum cringe potential to my advantage. At pickup time, so when my daughter would come out, and this was at primary school, but I think I might have whipped it out again a few times in the later years. But if my daughter was she'd had a really bad day, we've all had them, you come out and just like, someone else needs to know just how bad my day's been, so I'm going to act up a little bit. And obviously be in the groups of mums, and I mean, that in itself is a whole nother topic of conversation, but, and you possibly feel like you're being maybe, I don't know, you do feel possibly like you're being a little bit judged in that situation. I don't know. But anyway, she come out, she had a bad day. She's like, right, I'm going to act up a little. And to be fair, this rarely happened.
Yeah.
And it happens to us all, no judgment there. But what I would do to try and quash that moment was I would just do this, and I'm, to the people listening, I am raising my hands in a small jazz hands fashion, which she knew meant if you keep doing this, I will start tap dancing right here, right now in the playground. And she knew I would as well.
That's amazing. That's a good tactic.
Used to bring that moment down.
Yeah.
Sometimes with laughter, usually in just more fury that would come out when we got home. But at least we get home and she could vent her day.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's a good plan. I haven't tried the dancing one. I sometimes would just make up silly songs about poo or something until they just, they
Just
accidentally smile.
yeah.
Occasionally still works if they're like feeling a bit grumpy, and they can't help it then
Good.
sometimes. But the
Yeah.
older they're getting, I'm sure they're just going to end up slamming the door in my face or whatever. But
No, I think they'll always love it. They'll always
I
love
hope
it. And that's
so.
the thing, because then you come out the other side. And
Yes.
now my daughter and I at various family weddings and everything love nothing more than to do silly dancing on the dance floor.
Oh, brilliant.
So yeah, you do. You come
Brilliant.
out the other
You come
side.
out, I've got that. So I think I'm in the thick of the worst bit. And then a few years' time, they'll
Yeah,
realize actually, let's just
yeah.
join in with the silly
Yeah,
songs.
exactly.
So,
Well, that's the good thing about Cringe, isn't it? Is that
yeah.
you sort of you move through, like I say, it started off with everything was just
Yeah.
absolutely
God,
embarrassing.
yeah.
I found all things embarrassing. And
Did that carry on through high school for you as well? Were you a very embarrassed teenager? Have you got any teenage
oh,
cringes that spring to mind?
well, I mean, I was thinking about this, and most of them, I'm sure I have. Well, actually, I even threw this out to my old childhood friends to say, right, come on, what do you remember that I should have
Mm.
been really, or I was really not? But most of them were clothing related.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so obviously there were always the day-to-day things about having that crush on someone, and then someone finding out about that crush and just, or
God,
the wrong person or worse, the
the
object of your
person.
crush finding out
Yeah.
about your
Oh,
I mean, ugh. And then having to, yes, sit in a classroom with
awful.
them for an hour
Yes.
trying to learn some French verbs and just feeling like you wanted to
It
for
was
the
so
floor to screw you up.
yeah, I even used to get embarrassed if someone had a crush on you and it got
Mm,
back to you, "Oh, so and so fancies you." I
yeah.
used to find that really embarrassing as well. I used to just, yeah,
Yeah,
wanna
no.
curl up and die. Um,
Yes, and exactly, and you feel awful for yourself, you feel awful for
yeah,
them, you feel it's
yeah.
just like, ugh. But yes, so a lot of that, and I was trying to remember other things, but mainly the ones that really stuck in my head. Does this mean I'm just really vain? Quite possibly, but were things where I'd gone and got some mousse. So there was a point in I imagine it was the late 80s, where everyone put mousse in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Now, I don't really have the right hair. I don't think for mousse. I've got very straight, fine hair. It's not great for anything much, to be fair,
I've
but
got I've got exactly the same. You can't
um,
do anything with it.
can't do a thing
Like,
with it.
just
But I did try. At that
yeah,
point, I
yeah.
still had hope that I could. So I invested in some mousse, and obviously in the week, and I put this mousse on my hair in the morning, and I hadn't really understood how mousse worked or what you did with it. So I just put it in my hair, expecting my hair to then bounce into this lovely zhuzhy, thick
Mm.
mane of hair. By in between me putting the mousse in my hair, leaving for school, getting the train to school, and arriving at school. And I got to school, and I think I was getting some looks, and I was like, "Oh, obviously this isn't working. My hair's
Yeah.
like lovely." And then I looked in the mirror, and I did look like Wurzel Gummidge because it had just
Nice.
dried in nice. I
On the
had
way to
sort of
school.
a shoulder length bob, and it had dried in nice crunchy sticks.
Oh,
So,
the thing is, in your defense, back in
uh,
the day, the
mhm.
Moose adverts, the women would put them on, shake their head, and they'd have this thick, voluminous, lovely hair. So
Exactly.
you were obviously just thinking, this is what's going to
Yeah,
happen to me. So
I
it wasn't
know.
really your fault. Let's blame the
Well,
adverts.
oh, for so many things. But
Yeah.
yes, for Moose in particular. And there was also um, a phase where I had a bit of a goth phase, as I
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
most people do. And I would put a lot of white powder on my face for school to get
Oh,
my
nice.
full. It's like quite cakey
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
So
I just remember having no idea about makeup when I didn't
mm,
have any older sisters or anything, so I was just
yeah.
kind of making it up as I went along. And at one point, I didn't really wear anything else except this horrible, like, orangey red lipstick. Um,
Like
it did. I
Coralie.
was really pale, so it just when I look at pictures, it's pretty bad. But then my sister went with purple lipstick, so you know,
Yes. You
That's
see,
it.
I moved through both those phases
Yeah.
because I was quite, and that's weird, isn't it? Because I was obviously embarrassed about most things, but I was always quite experimental with clothes, even
Yeah.
from quite little. And I remember being at a disco on a French trip, and everybody wearing sort of like little slip-on stilettos and quite sort of like tube skirts, and I was there in like peg leg trousers and this sort of, you know,
Yeah.
but baggyish top, which was decorated with sort of like postmodern circles and swirls and squares and triangles. And I remember loving it, but then I remember getting there and going, oh, I've got this completely wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it not stopping me and me still going for like, oh, and now I'm going to have bright red lipstick and
Yeah. Why
a
not?
edgy haircut.
So
And
you kind of embraced your cringe, really. That was your thing, and you
well,
just didn't care.
yeah, well, I think that I mean, I'd love to say that happened that early on, but I don't think so. But there was a moment when because I was very say embarrassed. I was, even though I think I fitted into at school
Mm.
the category, I suppose, of sort of nerd, and that sort of, and I'm very happy there,
Yeah. Yeah.
and not, and I am still absolutely there. Um, I quite liked fashion and stuff as well.
Yeah.
And then I remember I used to be called, again, no one's going to get this reference, Swing Out Sophie. There was a band in the 80s called Swing Out Sister, and she had a fringe and a bob, and it was sort of
Okay.
shaved a bit up the back. And I had that haircut. And then one day, post mousse, I found gel.
Oh
And
no, that's almost
gel,
worse, isn't it? The
well, do you know
slick
what
back.
you say? I mean, and obviously in hindsight, it wasn't great, but it was my moment where I gelled my fringe and did a kiss curl.
Oh,
And yeah.
that's
And
cute.
then I somehow went from, and it was almost overnight in other people's perception. I went
Mm.
from being, the sort of like very embarrassed
Nerd.
sort of
Yeah. Yeah.
nerdy girl. And then I was cool. And that
Yeah.
started to be, well, I mean, not super cool, let's be
But yeah,
real.
still in comparison, you were sort of like, the ugly duckling turning into a cool
I mean, I
swan.
would, yeah, it was just, I don't know. It's like, it's funny, isn't it? It's those things where, and I was still doing things very much because I wanted to do them, even
Yeah.
though knew I was going to potentially be embarrassed about them,
Yeah.
which is, and now I'm saying it, is uncharacteristically sort of quite, bold of me, I guess. But
Yeah.
yes,
I think that's
anyway, so
kind of
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So my new kiss curl haircut
That
changed the
changed
game.
things for you. Yeah, I think I used to sometimes do things where I thought it would be funny to wear something funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it wasn't cool, but I was like, wouldn't it be funny if people, like me and my cousin, used sometimes swap shoes and just go in with odd shoes on,
Brilliant.
just because we thought it would be funny. Not that we thought it looked cool to have odd shoes, but actually, I think we were trailblazing then. I mean, it didn't catch on. But,
Yeah,
why not? Who's to say we have to have matching shoes? Who made that rule? You see?
exactly. Well, I think you can buy them now, can't you? You can
Can
buy odd
you?
shoes. Yes, you can certainly
I
buy odd
like
socks, but I'm
that.
pretty sure, like, is it like Moschino or something has done like odd?
Oh, see, I've always thought that I would come up with that idea, even just for different colours. How cool would that
Yeah,
be? So,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know how long the Moschino's been doing them for, and they could very well have stolen that idea from you and your
I was
cousin.
gonna
So,
say, I wonder if
you
they got
know,
wind. So, yeah.
awesome.
When we're grown-ups, we leave all the cringe
Oh,
behind us, don't we, Sophie? Do
do
we?
we?
Do we? Or do we just care less?
I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
it.
What yeah.
I think that's it. I think I still have the potential to be hugely embarrassed about things, and I'm one of those people who will worry about things.
Oh,
I'll think,
okay.
oh
Yeah.
gosh, was I okay? Did I do that okay? And that's the sort of thing. But actually being embarrassed in the moment, I think, I think it's there's one of the characters I've written about is called Bad Nana.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the reason I wrote about that character was because I really like the idea of having an old, I'm going to call her old. She's old. She's an old
Yeah.
lady.
Yeah. Should be
And,
I think she'd be
she's a
happy with
nana.
that.
I mean, she's not ancient. She's just not young.
Hmm.
So she's an old lady who just celebrated her own silliness and refused to be embarrassed and refused to sit quietly in the corner and all of those things. And I think you just sort of embrace it, don't you? And I also think the job that we do in the wonderful world of children's books, and when you go and do events with children, and well, when I started this just over 10 years ago, and they said you've got to go and stand up in front of hundreds of people and chat about stuff.
Yeah. What, you mean I just can't write in my pajamas all day? I've actually got, you want me to go and actually talk about it now?
It's
like quite a shock to the system.
It is bonkers, isn't it? Because one minute you're in a room on your own, literally in your own head for days at a time, and then you're out for days at a time in front of hundreds of people. And they're quite, but and I used to be so nervous. And I guess that's a form of maybe embarrassment as well, about this, that my kneecaps would shake independently of my body. So scared. But I think it really was, once I embraced the fact that no matter how much planning I did, how many little cards I wrote or things I slides I had behind me, no two events would really be the same, because you're up there and you're in front of lots of kids, and the idea is that you're having lots of fun. So there's got to be a level of spontaneity there as well. So once I'd embraced that and embraced that anything could happen, it could go really wrong. And I think it was actually doing a Bad Nana event where I was in front of an assembly of 400 to 500 children, and I was reenacting a moment from Bad Nana where the park keeper bends down, picks to pick up a sweet wrapper that Bad Nana has purposely dropped in front of him. And as he bends down, she goes like that. So I had to reenact that moment on my own in front of 400 to 500 children. And as I was doing that, I just thought, there's no room for being embarrassed.
No, that's a good way. Yeah, once you've done that, that's it. It's kind of, actually, when I go to schools about my other books, my Knobbly Bottoms, one of the things I do at the beginning is sing a song about poo that I wrote when I was a kid and found, and it was the inspiration for the books. So I think if you set the bar really low from the beginning, it's like, can't get any worse. All the teachers have heard me sing this silly song about poo. It's fine. So you just embrace it.
And just, that's the thing, isn't it? And I think when you're with lots of people and you do just embrace those moments, I think it's also a signal, whether it's, your friends, your family, or hundreds of pupils in a school, whatever it is, if you just embrace that moment and just go, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this moment. I choose to find this funny. And then everyone else just sort of relaxes and laughs along as well. And I think that's the thing when you get older that you possibly realise with most embarrassment. Let me be clear, there's still definitely room for me to be utterly embarrassed. But with most things, if you go, do you know what? No, I'm going to choose to go the other way with this. I'm going to laugh about it. And then more often than not, everyone laughs with you.
They do. And I think it's a really good way of coping with stuff as well, actually. If something bad or cringy or embarrassing does happen, if you can turn it somehow into a funny story and end up making yourself laugh about it. I mean, I don't know, if something happens like really embarrassing or even like a bad day, the first thing I always think is, I can't wait to tell my mum or my sister about it, because I know that we'll end up laughing about it. So there's not a lot that could happen, I think, that I would not be able to sort of just share and embrace these days.
No, exactly. I mean, if you can laugh in the moment, brilliant, but that's not always possible.
It's not always possible for everyone. But I think I am so cringy, I'm almost a bit immune to it now. I've done too many cringes at too many events. Now it's almost like I have accidentally made myself immune. Because like you say, there was a lot of time I was just at home writing on my own, and before that it was COVID, actually, so you weren't out mixing, and then suddenly I was out in the wild talking to people, and so I went full cringe. So I there was,
well, that's interesting, isn't it, as we all sort of reintroduced ourselves into sort of IRL society. I think we all sort of, I think we all sort of had to find our way again, didn't we?
Exactly. Especially if you were someone that worked from home anyway, with very few interaction. I didn't get too embarrassed when I was younger because I was into drama. So it would, it would take a lot to make me feel embarrassed then, but it was more looking back at myself as like a tween and teen. The things I did that thought were cool at the time, I'm
Yeah.
like, why did I do that? Or why did I think
Yeah.
that was funny?
That's the joy of it. And the thing is, it's like you do go through that wince moment, don't
Yeah.
you? But then I think that's another important thing, isn't it? That we all need to look back on our younger selves and go, oh, you were an idiot, but you were
Yeah.
doing your best.
Exactly. And you do go through times where you're that age and you're thinking, maybe there is something wrong with me.
Yeah,
It's kind of,
don't fit in.
yeah, you feel like all that, don't you? But I mean, it didn't really stop me being a massive dork, but or show off or whatever I was back then. But I don't know. But now I like writing about characters who are a bit quirky and just kind of
Yeah.
embrace that. Like Pizazz, she's embraces her cringe big time, doesn't
Well,
she?
yeah, that's all the characters, and it's funny. I think it was Pizazz that crystallized it for me.
Mm.
Because all the characters I tend to write about tend to be outsiders,
Yeah,
sort
yeah,
of, and I think that's because I was one, my daughter was one. Yeah, anyway, but yes, so I love that and the sort of quest to fit in, but then actually realizing that you
yeah,
do find your own tribe. You do, once you accept yourself, it's much easier to sort of find your spot, as it were.
yeah. That's the
Um,
thing.
yeah. So yeah,
'Cause
embracing that and then turning that into a positive, I think.
yeah,
And I think that's essentially, I mean, even for the people that we possibly looked across that and thought, oh gosh, they're so cool, they know everything they're doing. Da, da, da. No, everyone, when you're growing up, you all have your bumps along the road, don't you? And questioning
yeah,
this, and wondering about that, and so I think it's a tough old time, isn't it? But the more you embrace yourself and your quirks and
definitely.
those potentially awful moments, and the kinder you are to yourself, I think the easier it becomes.
Yeah, it does. And when you look back, it never seems as bad as it did at the time.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm all for embracing my cringe now.
Yes.
So is there anything now that makes you cringe now? Is there any
Oh,
silly things? Because this is going to sound ridiculous, but when I buy a big pack of loo roll, I find that really like I don't get embarrassed easily. When I'm buying like a big bumper pack, I don't know why. I see it, I just go bright red. I think that like they're going to think, oh, I know what you're up to later. She's home for a
you
big
sing
poo
songs about
today.
poo.
No, exactly. It makes no sense. But I remember, I think it was the first time when I was at university or something, the first time I had to actually buy a big thing of loo roll. And
Mm.
because we were students, I think they were on offer. And my friends were like, oh, get 2 lots. So that was when I felt, and
All the
and I
loo
just
roll.
remember feeling really embarrassed walking home with these loo rolls. It's silly. So there's not a lot that gets me, but
Yeah,
buying,
yeah.
I need to get over it, don't I? I feel I just need to one day fill
I
the whole
think,
trolley up and
yes, just go
just,
for it.
yeah, yeah,
Or get it delivered. Or
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
sing your song as you're buying it and then
Sing
just
my
get through it
song.
that way.
Yes.
I think
Or make up a
that's really
loo roll song.
that's really interesting, isn't it? I'm trying to think what makes me embarrassed now. I mean, I'm sure there's definitely
I
stuff.
mean, people
Um,
do have cringy habits and hobbies as
yeah,
they get
cringy habits.
older,
But I was
even if we're
thinking,
embracing them.
yeah, well, this is it. I was thinking about my habits and like, guilty pleasures and things like that. I thought, well, I like crochet. I do like
I
crochet.
do. See,
Yeah.
technically, there might be some that would think that's cringy, but we're
Well,
embracing these things. So,
exactly. But then when you add that to my other things that potentially are cringy, so
okay.
I like crochet. I love Midsummer Murders. I will not apologise for
I
that. I
haven't even
love Midsummer Murders.
heard the.
And lo-
Yeah.
loads of cups of tea. So essentially, I've got the habits of a
Of
of a
uh
nana.
of an older
Not that
nana.
there's anything wrong with that. I might
Nothing wrong
introduce
with that.
sherry in as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, I love a sherry, but it's got to
Or
be at
dry
Christmas. It
sherry on a
doesn't
hot.
taste. Oh, on a hot day. I only drink it at Christmas.
So dry sherry, really dry sherry, chilled.
Oh,
There you
interesting.
go.
Okay. Well, the
I mean,
sun's
now I sound
out.
like a sherry expert. I'm not, but
I don't think you'll convert me into Midsummer Murders though,
Really?
somehow.
Marty
Uh,
McCutcheon's killed by a wheel of cheese. Every so often a new one will pop up, and it's no longer John Nettles, is it? It's Neil Cudgeon, I think
okay. Oh,
is his.
maybe has it had a bit of a revamp then, or you're just happy
Well,
with the...
so this is the weird thing. You know, we love all the Scandi noir
Yeah.
murders. Well, they love, I think was it Sweden? A bit of Midsummer. So
Oh,
they did an
okay.
exchange, and they were literally chased down the streets of Sweden by fans. That's
That's
how much they
Well,
love
there you
Midsummer Murders.
go.
I
So it
might
is
have got
kind of cool.
the wrong place, and apologies if I have, but it was yeah. But
Who
no,
knew?
it's great. It knows what it is, and it's very happy
Exactly.
about that. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind of it, isn't it? That's sort of what we're talking about it today. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what you are. It could be a bit cringy, but you're all right with it, and that's
It's as
okay.
if the whole show has embraced its cringe. Maybe I'll give it another go. Maybe.
Look
I
up the Wheel
feel
of Cheese one.
the
That's
Wheel of Cheese, is that a good
it's a good.
introduction to the...
I
I
mean,
can't even remember if I've ever watched an episode, maybe many years ago. It's been around for a time, hasn't it?
it has. I
So
mean, yes, a
yeah.
very long time, and yeah, no, I do. I'm unapologetic in my love of Midsummer Murders.
Well, I mean, I can't really say anything because I watch this program on the telly, which is literally just people going into an airport and getting their bags checked. I think it's called
my
Nothing to Declare. Have you seen it?
my daughter loves this.
Oh, that makes me feel quite cool then because she's
I
young and
haven't seen
hip.
it yet.
I
Sounds
don't know
good.
what, it's just really addictive. And
I think a lot of it for me is it's just soothing television, isn't it?
yeah,
Sometimes you
yeah,
just want something I don't not always want to be challenged
no,
or educated. Sometimes I just want to be soothed. And if it's
yes,
people having their bags checked or Martin McCutcheon being taken out by a giant wheel of cheese, so be it.
yeah, that's what I tend to watch telly for, a bit of a comfort watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
no, I'll
what,
have
and
to check that out.
I do still watch Neighbours.
Oh,
Um,
do
yeah,
you?
it's still on Prime, but it's coming to an end soon for real this time.
Really though,
So
because they have
yeah,
already said that, haven't
I
they?
know they did, so you never know, but apparently this is it this time. Paul Robinson's been on Instagram saying it's, very
Yeah,
sad. For my lunch break, I'll go and have a little episode of
neighbours.
Neighbours, and that's a cringy comfort watch. And it's still
Nice.
majorly cringy. Nothing bad happens in Ramsay Street. A
Brilliant.
lot of the old characters are still in it. Carl and
Really? Harold?
Susan.
No, not
Harold,
Harold.
yeah, he was still in it till very recently. Don't want to give any spoilers out if people are, binging.
He could still be in it.
Yeah.
We can
So a
neither
lot of
confirm
them,
nor deny.
yeah, he might come back
Bouncer?
again. No, Bouncer's long gone, I'm afraid. And
Oh,
Scott and
God.
Charlene haven't come back either. Funnily enough, Kylie
Didn't they
doesn't.
come back for the very last
They
one? The
did,
last one?
They came back for the finale. They did do a little appearance, and Guy Pearce did as well.
That's a cringe thing, isn't it? Because when you look back at their original wedding outfits, and
Oh,
that hair Jason Donovan,
oh
that
my God.
mullet of all mullets, I
Yeah,
mean, that you'd think
it's
there might be a bit
special.
of cringe, but maybe
Well,
not.
back then though, it was all like, that was the look, wasn't
Look,
it?
yeah, well, yes, I remember one of my best friends for her birthday treat, we went to Radio Mercury to meet her cringe crush, not my cringe crush, hers, Pat Sharp, when his hair was in its prime.
He was the king of mullets, wasn't he, Pat Sharp?
It was down his back
Yes.
and it touched the sky at the same time.
That is
At
not...
the
Who
front, it
was he not your cringy crush then?
My cringy. Oh yeah. Again, I don't feel like cringe. I loved Michael J. Fox. I loved him in
Oh,
Family
oh my
Ties
God,
and
Back to the
Back to the
Future.
Future. Yeah,
But
Teen Wolf. He was the original.
oh my God, even as the wolf, I quite
Yeah,
fancied
he was
him. But he
cute.
was cool. I mean, I recently watched the Back to the Future films with my daughters. And it's so weird because obviously he looks like a little boy now. And
Yes,
I actually fancied Doc. Quite
yes.
fancied
Well,
Doc when I was
yes.
watching.
He's the
Now he's closer to
cool
my
guy.
age now than Michael J. Fox was in the film. And actually, I was like, oh, I didn't even notice he was good looking when I was a kid. But
But it's bonkers, isn't it? Because he was like geriatric when we watched it, but obviously he wasn't. He was probably about 35.
to be fair,
Yeah.
it was ovulation week when we watched it, so
No.
But I did think, yeah, I'd rather him than J. Fox now. But
Oh.
But anyway,
But yes, when I was age appropriately, I did
yeah.
love, and it was more than a crush. I did genuinely love him, I believe. So.
More than a crush. If
And,
only
you
he
know,
knew.
we probably
If
should have
only.
got married, but there we go.
Well, yeah. I should have married Jason Donovan. He was who I was
Was
really
he
after
yours?
back then. But then I went to see him quite recently. And yeah, it doesn't do it for me anymore, really.
No.
Obviously, he's now probably in his late 50s. I think he's nearly 60
Yeah.
now. Still
Yeah.
looks good on it, but he's not as cool as he used to be, you know.
Well, yes, I used to go to see him at the supermarket for a time.
Did
And
you?
we frequented the same Sainsbury's. So yes, that was.
Oh, I would have been
I
jealous of
know.
that. God.
Fancy.
I think it was the
It
curtains
wasn't.
when he got a bit left neighbours and he started having those blonde
Yes.
curtains. Everyone in the 90s
Oh,
had them. All the boys I fancied always had curtains. That was
yeah, curtains.
my
I
thing.
remember that being a very big thing at the school I was at. Was curtains, and then the neighbouring school were like, "No, we will not have curtains. We will only have short back and sides." And it was like this real like, "Oh, hello,
Yeah.
is this a thing?" And it was
How funny they were rival haircuts.
hairstyles for the boys. All the girls were fine, but it was just the boys and their conflicting hair.
Yeah. I'm picturing some kind of like, rival gangs meeting, flicking their curtains at the short back and side ones, as if to say, "Stay out of our way."
Exactly, like is it Anchorman? Yeah, when they have all the rival news teams
but
assemble.
they've got the
yeah,
haircuts.
I think it was. Yeah, who knows? There could have been some perms at another school and a mullet.
Oh my God! Yeah, maybe every school was different. So before we move on to Cringers Anonymous, do you have anything else you want to get off your chest? To fully unleash anything else that you just want to be free of, Sophie?
Oh, well, I think my most recent cringe, and like I said, I did put this out to my friends.
Okay.
My friends since we were 13.
Brilliant.
And the best one they came back with was I was at Glastonbury many years ago. 30 years ago, possibly. It was when Pulp first played Glastonbury.
I love Pulp.
And that was the reason I went. My friend talked me into it. And we had no tent because we were supposed to meet our other friend, the other member of this little gang there, who failed to turn up to any of our rendezvous points throughout the whole weekend. So my friend Siobhan and I had to be creative with where we slept in the bed. Anyway, I know, so it was like there were miserable moments, let's be clear. And so I had a rucksack, not a big rucksack, but a rucksack on my back, and it got darker and it was getting a bit chillier. And so we got our sleeping bags and we'd sort of put them as little sort of old lady shawls round our faces, held them under our chins, and they sort of hung down over our backpacks at the back. So our field of vision became very limited. And as we shuffled over these little bridges that connected each field over these ditches, my field of vision was so limited. 1 minute I was shuffling next to Siobhan, and then the next minute I was on my back in a ditch like a little beetle, with loads of people standing around like, "Oh, you're right."
in your sleeping bag.
And I couldn't get up, and then expecting my dear friend to run to my aid,
save me
from this embarrassment, this humiliation of all these cool festival goers staring down at me. And she was nowhere to be seen because she couldn't move for, I'm going to say, 5 minutes because she was laughing so hard.
Charming, that's friendship for you. At least she didn't film it or anything, these days.
The days before you could.
I was going to say, these days that would be all over the internet by now.
Well, exactly. But we're still friends today.
Now you've unleashed that, so you're free from that shame forever. Okay, so finally, we are at the part of the show I like to call Cringers Anonymous, where we help a young person with their cringe. As we have established, I think we're cringe veterans. So
Very
I
experienced.
feel we can try to offer
Yeah,
some good advice. So I've got some
absolutely.
anonymous cringes that have been sent in to me from tweens and teens. So first I have got, my mum left a note in my lunchbox on my birthday and signed it off Mummy. It fell out in the canteen and everyone saw it. Will I ever get over this? Oh dear. Do
That's
you know, that is a hard one. I remember my mum used to put on Valentine's Day a little Valentine's badge in my lunchbox.
no
But
bad.
luckily it never fell out. I think once someone did see it and I
Yeah.
just tried to make out, oh, a boy must have put that in there,
Just dropped it in my
knowing full well my mum's done this every year, for
mouth.
years. But yeah, that's quite embarrassing, especially if they signed it Mummy.
Mummy, it's the
Yeah.
mummy, isn't it? It's the mummy thing. It's really tough, that one, because it absolutely comes from a place of love.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's what I think you need to, as much as you can, try and remember that that was meant as just a really lovely gesture.
Mm,
And I think because it was sort of done to you as opposed to, by you, yes, I think you will. I
yeah.
think you just got to remember that, and maybe just have a really nice quiet word and say, Mum,
Yeah.
I really loved it, but please
Exactly.
don't put notes from Mummy in my life.
Yeah, you could try and convince them that it was from an actual mummy, like an Egyptian mummy. You
Oh,
could
good
maybe
idea.
say, yeah, well, keep one at home,
Yeah.
Cleopatra type vibes. And they
Yeah.
sometimes like to say happy birthday. And even if they don't believe you, they'll be thinking about that and
Yeah, exactly.
forget.
And that's the thing. I think that's what we all worry about a lot. And this was said to me, and I found it really useful. It's like we are all the stars of our own show because we're right
Yeah.
at the heart of everything that's going on to and us and around us. So these things feel huge, don't they, in
Yes.
that moment? And you're like, oh, I have acknowledged this. I've seen this. I know this. Oh my goodness. I know everything about this. And the thing is, people will notice it, but they probably won't notice it as much as you
Yeah.
think they are. And they probably won't bother them as much as you think it does. And they will very quickly move on to their own drama or their
Yes.
own cringe. And you know what? Maybe they're like, oh, deep down, maybe they're sort of being a bit cool going, oh, but deep down they're probably thinking, oh, that's quite nice.
Yeah.
I quite like a note from
Yeah.
my mum in my
Yeah, I
lunch.
wouldn't mind one. I have left my daughter
Mm,
notes. I don't sign it mummy though.
no,
So,
I used to draw puppies because my daughter
yeah,
loved
yeah.
puppies and put them
You're
in
an
her lunchbox.
artist. You can get away with that. So there you go. It will be fine. Don't worry. But if you really can't bear that, pretend it was from an Egyptian mummy. Thank you very much for sending that in. And thank you, Kat, for coming, Sophie, and sharing your cringes.
I feel a lot lighter for this.
Do you?
This
I
is
was going to say,
great.
how do you
Yeah,
feel? You feel good?
great.
We should have cringe clinics where we all just come and share our cringy moments and then go out feeling amazing.
And I
So,
think that's it, isn't it? When you have a good catch up with your friends or your family, that's sort of what that is, isn't it? So the
yeah,
next time, like you said earlier, you have a cringy moment, just think, oh, at least it'll make a good story later
exactly.
on.
Exactly. So that's great. And thank you for coming. And can you tell us a bit about anything coming up?
Well, I Hate Everything, the picture book is out now.
That's it.
Mr. Big Fluff Rules, the third in the Happy Hill series, is out.
Oh, when's that?
Was it 2 weeks ago? I think I
Oh,
can't.
okay.
Time is elastic. And I've just finished the fourth Happy Hills and another in the I Hate Everything series called I Want Everything.
Oh, okay.
And they
Brilliant.
will be out next year. So I'm busy starting book 5 of Happy Hills
Oh,
and some more
brilliant.
everythings. So yeah,
Okay.
good. Thank you so much for having me, Emily Jane. I have loved it.
Thanks again to Sophie for coming into the Cringe Club today, or should I say, swing out Sophie. Don't forget to check out her brilliant books, Bad Nana, the Pizazz series, the Happy Hill series, and I Hate Everything. Thank you very much for listening. If you would like to submit a cringe or just join in the conversation, if anything that's happened to us has happened to you, please email me at cringeclubcrew@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at emilyjane.clark. And don't forget, my book for tweens is out now called Cringe Club, which is the first in a funny news series that is entirely written in group chat. So thanks for listening and keep on cringing, everyone. Also, I do know that catchphrase is really cringy. It makes me cringe just saying it, but I'm nothing but not on brand.